All right, let's dive into one of humanity's biggest, most powerful ideas, justice. But we're going to look at it through a really fascinating lens, the lens of faith. We're going to explore how three of the world's great religions, Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism, each give us a unique blueprint for what it means to be a good, just person.
So let's start with the big one, a question we've all probably wrestled with at some point. What does it actually mean to be just? You know, philosophers, kings, and revolutionaries have been debating this for thousands of years. But as we're about to see, some of the most compelling answers come from these ancient spiritual traditions.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with that core question of justice. Then we'll dig into the moral blueprints of each faith. From there, we'll check out the specific principles for living a just life, see where all these different paths actually meet, and finally, we'll talk about why this whole conversation matters so much in the world today.
Okay, let's get into those moral blueprints. Because if you really want to understand what a faith says about justice, you have to go right to the source, to the foundational texts and teachings that guide the lives of literally billions of people.
For Christianity, the blueprint is the Bible. You've got these foundational pillars like the Ten Commandments, a pretty clear set of do's and don'ts. But then you get something like Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, which kind of flips the script. It says justice isn't just about avoiding bad things, it's about actively pursuing good things like love, compassion, and even this radical idea of forgiveness.
Now for Islam, justice is built on two primary sources, the Quran, which is the holy book, and the Hadith, the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. Together, they create the foundation for Sharia. And this isn't just a list of rules. It's a whole ethical framework that's meant to guide everything from your personal life to the structure of society, all with the goal of creating a world built on fairness and equality.
Buddhist ethics, well, they take a different path. It all comes from the Buddhist teachings, and the focus isn't on commandments from a divine being, but on a deep understanding of suffering. So in this view, justice isn't a set of external rules you follow, it's more of an outcome. It's what naturally happens when you cultivate inner wisdom and compassion. You create a just state of being for yourself first, and then that just naturally ripples out into the world.
So, we've got the blueprints, but how does that translate into real life? Let's look at the specific principles, the core ethical codes that are meant to guide people on their path to living a just life.
This is a really cool way to see it all laid out. In Christianity, the big idea is love and forgiveness, and the action plan is the golden rule. For Islam, it's fairness and equality, structured through Sharia. And in Buddhism, it's compassion and wisdom put into practice through the Eightfold Path. You can really see the core of each tradition right here.
I mean, seriously, the Golden Rule has to be one of the most famous ethical principles on the entire planet. It's just so simple, but so profound. It's a direct call for empathy, for putting yourself in someone else's shoes, and it really is the bedrock of what a just and loving community is supposed to look like in Christianity.
And this gets at something really critical about Islamic justice. It's not just about punishment, it's proactive. Core ideas like charity or zakat and the duty to protect the most vulnerable in society are literally baked into the system. It's a framework built on social responsibility, designed to stop injustice from ever taking root in the first place.
In Buddhism, justice isn't really a destination. It's a path you walk every day. And the Eightfold Path isn't a rigid list of rules. It's more like an interconnected set of practices to, well, transform your mind. You start by cultivating wisdom to see the world clearly, which leads you to live ethically and cause no harm. And the whole thing is held together by developing mindfulness, which is what allows you to be truly present and compassionate.
Okay, so we've seen how each path is distinct, but where do they cross? Where do they meet? This is where we explore the universal values that they all seem to share, and also the unique cultural contexts that shape how they look in the real world.
And this is what is so striking. When you strip it all down to the basics, you find this incredible overlap. Compassion for others, a deep-seated demand for fairness, a belief in the fundamental equality of human beings. You know, these values don't belong to any one tradition. They're part of our shared human heritage, and they're just expressed in powerful ways through these different faiths.
Now, this is a really crucial point. While the core ideals, the what, like compassion and fairness, are so often the same, the how can look very, very different. Imagine those universal values are like pure light. That light gets filtered through the unique lens of history and culture, and that shapes how justice is actually applied. Understanding that distinction is absolutely key to having a real conversation.
Okay, So we've talked theology, we've talked ethics, but now we get to the most important question of all. Why does any of this matter right now? In our modern, complex, interconnected world, what is the actual real-world impact of these ideas?
And it matters because faith isn't just a private, personal thing. It's a powerful force that shapes cultures, builds legal systems, and drives global politics. If we're really serious about tackling the biggest challenges we face, things like social inequality or human rights, we simply have to understand the deep moral frameworks that are guiding how billions of people think and act.
And this is really the ultimate takeaway. Understanding justice across different faiths isn't just an academic exercise. It's a practical tool. It's what helps us have genuine cross-cultural dialogue. It's how we can advance human rights more effectively. It's how we build the bridges we desperately need to create a more just and compassionate world for everyone.
So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. If so many of these great traditions are built on a shared foundation of compassion and fairness, what's the real source of our deepest conflicts? Is it the principles themselves, or is it how we choose to interpret and apply them? That's a powerful thought to consider. Thanks for watching.